Today, we're looking at a blue ink by Montblanc Leo Tolstoy. As always, there's timestamps down below so you can skip around, but if you've got the time, I'd appreciate you checking out the entire video. Also, if you like blue inks, there's a link to that playlist down in the description. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. I get inks, test them, and share the results with you. The writing samples always start out with Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper. Up first is 90 GSM Clairfontaine. We have no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen. There is some shading in Tolstoy, looks to be quite a bit different tone than the word Montblanc. The extra fine is a tad lighter than the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, good shading. Quick goes from darker to lighter to darker, where brown goes dark to light. Lazy goes dark to light, 8 seconds to dry. Medium is a tad bit lighter than the extra fine. With no feather spread, halo sheen, great shading. Quick goes dark to light to dark to light to dark. Oh my god. Brown goes dark to light. Fox goes light to dark. 14 seconds to dry. Very worth it. The scrubby of the extra fine shows no color variation, although we do get some in the writing. The medium shows some, and we do get it. And the smear test, you could likely recover it if you smeared while you were writing. To have a range of experience with this ink, all of the writing samples are done with a Jinhao 159 with a 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a medium, and a Jinhao X750 with an extra fine. Then, a Pelikan M800 with a medium nib was inked up, used for a day, and used to take the notes for this video. The second standard paper is 52 GSM Tomoe River. We have no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade. The extra fine is a tad bit lighter than the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, and 12 seconds to dry. The medium is about the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, and 22 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both do show some color variation, although we're not getting it in the writing, and the smear test, you'd likely not be able to recover it if you smeared while you were writing. I agree with Vita that I've learned a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. A line of ink is put down, and then it's immediately put in the water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we see a very in there line. That in there line is a bit green leaning. It makes me think that this ink probably should be a blue-black, but there's nothing blue-black about its look. It looks entirely just blue. Now, the ink that pushes up is a very light blue that gathers at the top. The one on the right is let dry for 10 minutes before it's put into water. And that greenish line on the bottom is still very much there and not moving, and the blue that moved up is the same amount of blue. If I didn't mark the second chromatography, we might not be able to tell which one it is. But I do think that greenish tone may be a bit of a holdout color for this ink. The third standard paper is 80 GSM Rhodia dot pad. We have no bleeding and no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen. It does have shading. Look at how the T of Tolstoy is darker than the letters around it. Montblanc at the beginning looks quite a bit darker than it ends. The extra fine is a little bit lighter than the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen. It does shade. Quick goes darker to lighter to darker. Brown goes dark to light. Fox goes light to dark, and 6 seconds to dry. Now, medium is dark like the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shading, 11 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both shows color variation, though we're not getting it in the medium, and the smear test, you could likely recover it if you smeared while you were writing. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it may be to clean from your pen. The smear is allowed to dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, this is a very safe ink to use in a note-taking situation if you need to be able to go back and highlight. Water is lifting the blue tones off the paper, but not the green that has completely bonded with this paper. And I say completely bonded because when you look at the pen flush, it's not moving from there either. The 1/3 bleach solution is completely removing it, though staining the paper a little bit, but it only took water to get this out of my pen. For the additional writing samples, the paper's changed up all the time to get additional experiences and see some different things about this ink. The next paper we're going to take a look at is yellow Rhodia paper. This paper is used not to see performance changes because we basically expect it to perform the same, but much more to see tone changes that go on. Now, you can see that this is a very translucent ink because it goes from being blue on white to being very turquoise or teal, more turquoise, on the yellow paper. So if you use yellow paper in an office setting, your boss might not be particularly happy with that. And that's a lot of money to spend on a bottle of ink to get turquoise. For the inks tested, the average viscosity was 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Montblanc's Leo Tolstoy has a viscosity of 3.18, making this quite a bit drier than normal. If you're interested in how the viscosity is tested, there's a video linked down in the description. The next writing sample is done on TWSBI notebook paper. We have no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade. The extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen. It has moments of shading, like quick goes darker to lighter to darker. Brown looks much lighter in tone than lazy, 6 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine with no feather spread, halo sheen, still some shading like brown is lighter than lazy. The is very dark, 9 seconds to dry. The scrubby of the extra fine shows no color variation, though we do get some. The medium shows some, and we did get some. The smear test, you could probably recover it if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average dry time was 17 seconds, and the realm of normal was 13 to 21 seconds. Montblanc's Leo Tolstoy has an average dry time of 10 seconds, making this a bit faster drying than normal. The last writing sample is done on monocoque paper. The only bleed spots that we see happening are right there at the scrubby, so not such a big deal. Otherwise, we have no bleeding or ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade. The extra fine is a little bit lighter than the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen. It shades well. Quick goes dark to light to dark. Brown goes dark to light. Fox goes light to dark. 5 seconds to dry. Medium is dark like the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, no real shading. 9 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both shows color variation, though we're not really getting it in the medium, and the smear test, I do not think you could recover it if you smeared while you were writing. Instead of finding inks that look like Montblanc's Leo Tolstoy, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. I went for a nice brown because I really like that kind of classic look of brown with blue, and I chose Bookbingers Eastern Brown Snake. Now, if you'd prefer a different complement color, there's links to all of those playlists down in the description. So what do I think of Montblanc's Leo Tolstoy? It's a great tone with great shading. I even don't mind the turquoise lean in this, especially on that yellow paper. When an ink is done well, it shows. This brought a smile to my face as I used it. Send your bottles my way. Don't do that for real. So what nib and pen give the best writing experience with this ink? This is dealer's choice. This really does always look very nice. I hope you got something out of this video, and join us tomorrow when we take a look at J. Herbin's Stormy Gray.